Hello, Taurus. You've always been the rock, the anchor, the one who holds steady when the world begins to spin. But what if I told you the ground beneath you is about to shift, not to punish you, but to finally set you free? On September 20th, a rare and disruptive cosmic alignment will send ripples through every part of your inner world. Venus in Virgo forms a tense square with Uranus in Gemini, and for you, beloved Taurus, this is personal. Venus is your ruling planet. She governs your sense of beauty, your capacity to love, the way you experience pleasure, comfort, connection, and self-worth. And when Venus is involved in an astrological event, especially one as electric and chaotic as a square with Uranus, you feel it not just mentally, but viscerally. This isn't just astrology. This is your nervous system, your relationships, your values being rewired in real time. Venus is currently moving through Virgo, the sign of clarity, discernment, refinement, and grounded service. In this placement, she's been whispering to you gently, it's time to improve what isn't working, to clean out what's become clutter, to love with more honesty, more purity, more intention. But now comes Uranus, the cosmic rebel, the shockwave, the planet of disruption and awakening, currently stationed in the sign of Gemini, shaking up your thoughts, your beliefs, your definitions of connection. And when these two energies clash, as they do now, it creates a pressure point so intense, so illuminating, that you can no longer pretend not to feel the cracks. This isn't just a transit, it's a system shock, a relationship earthquake, a soul-level rupture, one that arrives not to destroy you but to disrupt everything that has been quietly suffocating you beneath the surface of stability. Because let's be honest, Taurus, sometimes your comfort becomes your prison. Sometimes your loyalty turns into self-abandonment. And sometimes your beautiful ability to endure keeps you stuck in something that no longer reflects your truth. This alignment, this Venus-Uranus square, is a breaking point, but not in the way that leaves you shattered. It's the breaking open, the breaking free, the parting of the curtain you didn't even know was closed. If you've been feeling an odd, restless tension in your body, if your relationships have felt heavier, your routines more hollow, your desire more distant, you're already sensing what's coming. There's a part of you that is no longer willing to stay small, no longer willing to pretend that fine is enough. And because you're ruled by Venus, this moment touches everything you hold: sacred love, safety, connection, self-worth, money, beauty, sensuality. It calls into question what you've been building your life around. Have you stayed because it's stable or because you're afraid to start over? Have you said yes when you meant no? Have you held on to something because it once brought you comfort? Even if now it brings you numbness, Uranus doesn't let you coast. Helig triphes you awake. And when he squares your ruling planet, he starts flipping switches that cannot be unflipped. You might wake up on September 20th with a clarity you didn't have the day before. The thought of staying in the same pattern might suddenly feel unbearable. The job, the relationship, the self-image you've been trying to maintain, they may all begin to feel like costumes you're ready to shed. It won't always make logical sense, but it will feel true. And Taurus, here's where the deeper meaning comes in. This square isn't isolated. It's the first jolt in a 7-year revolution. Uranus is moving through Gemini from 2025 to 2033. And this event is the preview of what that era will ask of you: to evolve your thinking, to speak your truth, to love with more freedom and less fear, to redefine what safety actually means for your soul. The changes you make now, the discomfort you feel, the truths that rise, they are not random. They are the beginning. But don't panic. This isn't about rushing into chaos or burning your life down for the sake of change. It's about noticing what's been quietly burning you out. It's about finally feeling the truth you've been avoiding. It's about giving yourself permission to stop performing peace and to start creating it from the inside out. Yes, you may feel tempted to make bold moves. You may feel the urge to pull away from people, quit something, say what you've never said. And maybe you need to, but not without reflection. The wisdom of this transit lies not in the impulse, but in the pause that follows it. When the lightning strikes, let it illuminate. Let it show you what's no longer aligned. But then breathe, ground, write, walk, rest. You don't need to act instantly, but you do need to listen. Because what this energy ultimately gives you, Taurus, is a choice, a doorway, a chance to stop carrying what was never yours, to stop dimming the parts of you that long to expand, to stop betraying yourself for the sake of keeping the peace. This square may feel like a disruption, but it's actually an act of love from the cosmos. It's the wake-up call that shakes your foundations so you can finally rebuild them around truth, not habit. Around who you are now, not who you were when you first made those choices. Around freedom, not fear. And just beyond this transit is the solar eclipse in Virgo, arriving September 21st, the day after, which means this square is the final crack before the breakthrough. It's the collapse that clears the ground so something sacred can be planted, but only if you let go, only if you trust what's leaving. Only if you stop clinging to the version of life that was built to survive and start opening to the one that's built to feel alive. So, Taurus, as you move through this energy, let your body guide you. Let your discomfort teach you. Let your truth surprise you. And above all, let yourself change. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know what comes next. You just need to be honest with yourself, with your heart, and with the life that's waiting for you on the other side of surrender. And Taurus, even before the outer shifts fully reveal themselves, your body may be the first to speak. You're an earth sign deeply connected to the physical realm, so when cosmic energy begins to move, you don't just notice it mentally, you embody it. And with Uranus involved, the ruler of electricity, sudden change, and nervous system responses, this is not a gentle vibration. It's a full body recalibration. You may feel it as restlessness, you can't explain an itch under the skin, a buzzing in the chest, a strange alertness in the early morning hours that keeps you tossing in bed with thoughts you can't turn off. Your heartbeat might speed up without warning. Your energy may fluctuate wildly, soaring one moment, crashing the next. Even simple tasks may feel strangely overwhelming, like you're walking through life in a heightened state of alert. This isn't just stress. It's not just exhaustion. It's your system adjusting to the sudden voltage of change. Because when Venus, your ruling planet, is jolted by Uranus, it sends shockwaves through everything you associate with balance, peace, and predictability. That's why the routines that once grounded you may now feel too rigid. The habits that once soothed you may begin to lose their effect. You may crave solitude one moment and connection the next. You may feel like crying for no reason, or suddenly feel inspired at 2 a.m. These are not malfunctions. Taurus, they are messages. Your body is speaking on behalf of your soul. It's saying something is shifting, and it's time to listen. So honor that. Don't try to silence or suppress it. Ground yourself in ways that are gentle, not controlling. Walk barefoot on the earth. Soak in water. Breathe in silence. Put your hands in the soil. Hold a cup of warm tea. Take slow, intentional breaths. Let your body release the static without demanding an immediate solution. You don't need to figure it all out today. You just need to stay present with what's rising. Because these symptoms, the tension, the insomnia, the unease, are not random. They're signals. They're showing you where your energy is out of sync with your truth, where your nervous system has been holding the pressure of pretending, pleasing, or performing for far too long. This transit doesn't just shake up your outer world, it liberates your inner one. And sometimes that liberation begins with a single heartbeat that says, I can't live like this anymore. So if you find yourself pacing the room at midnight, heart racing, wondering why everything feels so fragile and loud, you're not breaking down. Taurus, you're waking up. Your body is catching up to a soul that's already chosen freedom. Let the feelings come. Let them teach you. Let them soften you toward the truth. And above all, remember, every shift begins in silence. Every transformation starts in the space between certainty and surrender. Trust the rhythm of your body, even when your mind can't make sense of it yet. Because deep down, Taurus, you've always known when it was time to change. Your body's just making sure you don't miss the moment. And as your body speaks in pulses of unrest, Taurus, the truth it points toward cannot be ignored. Your relationships. Yes, those relationships, the ones you've held on to with the same quiet loyalty that makes you such a pillar in others' lives, the ones you've nurtured long after they stopped nurturing you, the ones you've kept alive not because they were thriving, but because the idea of letting go felt like a betrayal. But under this Venus-Uranus square, the universe isn't asking you to betray anyone else, it's asking you to stop betraying yourself. You may begin to feel it as a tightness in your chest when someone speaks to you in the same old way, a way you once tolerated, now suddenly unbearable. You may feel irritation rise in places you used to silence. You may feel a sudden craving for space, not because you no longer care, but because your soul is finally asking for room to breathe. That desire to withdraw, to distance, to reevaluate. It isn't rebellion. It's revelation. It's your inner self knocking, saying, this connection is not in alignment anymore. And that doesn't mean it never was. Some relationships were exactly what you needed in a past chapter. They taught you, protected you, even saved you. But if they now feel like they are shrinking you, exhausting you, or holding you hostage to a version of yourself you've already outgrown, this is your moment of truth. You may find yourself wanting to walk away from dynamics that once defined you. You may surprise even yourself with the clarity of knowing, I can't do this the way we've been doing it. It may come out of nowhere, but it will feel utterly undeniable. And perhaps the most disorienting part, Taurus, is that this longing for freedom doesn't always show up as anger or sadness. Sometimes it arrives as calm, as a deep, steady, knowing that what once sustained you now stifles you, that the shell you built to feel safe has become too tight, that you need more air, more space, more truth, even if it costs you familiarity, even if it costs you comfort, even if it costs you connection as you've known it. But remember, not all relationships will end. Some will deepen, the ones rooted in honesty, mutual respect, and emotional growth. They may go through a storm, yes, but they'll survive it stronger. Because this isn't just about severing ties, it's about refining them, rebalancing them, rebuilding them on new terms that reflect the version of you that's awakening now. Still, the emotional terrain will be intense. And that's because this Venus-Uranus energy doesn't stop at your external world. It reaches deeper into the foundation of your values, your worth, your sense of self. This is more than just relationship recalibration. This is a value revolution, a rewriting of the inner script you've been living by for far too long. You may wake up and realize that what you once defined as success now feels hollow, that the goals you've been working toward no longer reflect your soul's hunger, that the version of love you accepted, structured, reliable, predictable no longer stirs your heart. And this isn't a crisis of identity. It's a clearing of illusions. You are not losing who you are. You are letting go of who you were told to be. Taurus, you are ruled by Venus, the goddess of beauty and abundance. But somewhere along the way, you may have been taught that worthiness meant performance, that love had to be earned, that stability had to come before desire, that pleasure had to wait until you'd proven yourself. That mindset, however noble, has built an inner landscape where your soul is always waiting, always deferring its deepest longings in exchange for external validation. This square asks you to shatter that bargain. It asks you to reconsider what you define as valuable. Is it comfort? Or is it authenticity? Is it appearance? Or is it alignment? Is it being needed? Or is it being seen? These questions don't arrive gently. They arrive in the form of disruption. You might suddenly feel repelled by things you used to enjoy: social scenes, routines, even your own wardrobe. You might find yourself craving beauty in a new way, not as decoration, but as expression. You might realize that the life you've carefully built isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. And that missing piece is you, your unfiltered, untamed, unmasked self, the version of you that has been waiting beneath the surface, quietly asking for permission to lead. And yes, there will be grief in this process, grief for the dreams you're walking away from, for the relationships that can't evolve with you, for the identity that kept you safe, but also small. But within that grief, there will also be grace, because when you release what no longer fits, you finally make room for what does. So give yourself permission, Taurus, permission to want different things, permission to say no to what drains you, permission to let a relationship change form, permission to say, this used to be enough, but now I need more. You are not selfish for changing. You are not unstable for evolving. You are not wrong for wanting a life that feels more like you. This moment, this square, is not here to tear your life apart. It's here to reveal the threads that were never woven in your truth to begin with. And once you see them, once you feel how misaligned they've become, you'll never be able to unsee it. That's the gift. And that's the challenge. To honor the truth once it arrives, to rebuild your world around the new center that is emerging inside of you, not the old one that kept you safe. You were never meant to live a life that simply looks good on paper. You were meant to live a life that feels good in your body, your heart, your spirit. Let this be the beginning. Let this be your liberation. Let this be your return to what's real. And Taurus, as the dust of revelation begins to settle, it becomes clearer that what you're walking through right now, this wave of disruption, discomfort, and divine discontent, is not just a moment. It's a marker, a turning point, a cosmic threshold. This Venus-Uranus square on September 20th is not a one-day event, not a passing storm. It is the first signal of something much larger unfolding, the entrance into a 7-year Uranian cycle in Gemini that will reshape the way we connect, communicate, and understand truth itself. And for you, Taurus, who cherishes constancy, loyalty, and the tactile rhythms of a stable life, this cycle will feel like both a challenge and a liberation. The key is to recognize that the universe isn't trying to destabilize you. It's trying to upgrade you. Gemini is the sign of information, language, duality, and choice. Uranus here will bring a revolution in how truth is accessed, shared, distorted, and clarified through technology, relationships, and inner belief systems. And as one of the first major clashes between Uranus and Gemini and a personal planet like Venus, this square is the spark, the ignition, the first crack in the glass, showing you what can no longer hold the weight of who you're becoming. You're not being asked to understand the next 7 years today, but you are being asked to pay attention. Because the shifts you're experiencing now in your values, your relationships, your inner voice are microcosmic echoes of the larger tides ahead. This is your preparation. This is your invitation to evolve not just what you do, but how you think, speak, listen, and connect. And it begins inside you. So how do you move through this without being consumed by it? With grace, Taurus. With grounded flexibility, with presence. This isn't a time to make drastic decisions in the heat of the moment, especially not ones rooted in fear or urgency. The energy may be sudden, but your response doesn't have to be pause before you act. Reflect before you speak. Journal what you're feeling rather than unleashing it impulsively. Give your heart a moment to catch up with your nervous system. Let nature be your sanctuary. Let silence be your companion. Step outside and feel the stillness of the trees, the rhythm of your breath, the stability of the earth beneath you. Your body craves grounding because your soul is expanding, and those two truths are not in conflict. They are in relationship. Find the balance between stillness and movement, between patience and progress, between honoring what is and embracing what's coming. And above all, Taurus, do not resist what is asking to change. What's falling apart was likely already cracking. What's leaving was likely already done growing. What's rising within you has been waiting for this very window to emerge. And you, steady soul, are not losing control. You are being recalled to your power. True power, the kind that flows from within, the kind that doesn't need to hold on so tightly because it trusts what's real will remain. You are not meant to cling to outdated versions of love, success, or identity just because they were once safe. You are meant to evolve. This transit, disruptive as it may feel, is actually a rescue mission from the universe, pulling you out of what no longer resonates, even if you would have stayed there forever out of habit. Because something new is coming. And it's not just new, it's aligned. The solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st, just one day after this square, is the true reset. It's the seed moment. But the soil must be cleared first. The lies, the old rules, the false connections, the heavy identities, they must be released. That's why this square arrives first. To shake the ground, to open your eyes, to cut the cords. This is not chaos. This is sacred choreography. So, dear Taurus, breathe through the discomfort. Honor the tension. Let your instincts rise. But don't rush them. Let your truth emerge. But don't weaponize it. Write. Walk. Listen. And above all, surrender. Because what begins on September 20th is not an ending. It is a cleansing, and when you open your eyes on the morning of the eclipse, lighter, clearer, braver, you'll feel it. Something inside you will have shifted quietly, but permanently. You won't be the same. And that, Taurus, is the point.